Hey, this is Rosa, RCG Creations. How are you? Today I'm bringing to you a new project. Halloween's coming. Fall's here. Well, it is here in September, but in some areas of the country it's not. But anyway, the fall season is here. And then, of course, Halloween's next month. And then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. And I personally love to make these pop-up box cards. And here is a sample of one that I did. And that's what it looks like when it's standing up. And I'm going to show you so you can see the whole thing. That's what it looks like. But what's nice about these cards is when you make them, you fold it and they fold flat and you put it in an envelope. Of course, the size of this one, you have to make a special envelope, but that's okay because I have an envelope maker and I can do that. It's not a problem. Or you can just hand deliver it, whatever you want to do. And see how compact it folds? It folds thin, so you can put it in the mail. Just put a little bit extra postage because of the thickness, because I ended up putting little Google eyes and stuff. And then when you open it, you do have to be careful because depending on where you put your little center pieces in here, sometimes they do have to, they do kind of stick, so you kind of have to be careful when you put them together. Keep that in mind. But what I'm going to show you is, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the whole thing. Here's one side, and if you want to, you can decorate this part, but I never do because I keep the flats down. And see my little spider? I put some little fishing line on it, so he moves. The little spider. And there's another side. How you like my little rat? I've got a die that makes that. It is cute. Okay, and then here's the other side. There's my little Google eyes. Here's my little friendly ghost. I don't think he's too scary. And I made two of them, and I just put one on top of the other one with double-sided foam tape. So that way they have a little bit of a depth to it. And then here's the other side. And my little pumpkin, I did the same thing with the pumpkin. He's double-sided. I made two, and I made them double-sided there, so they're stacking. And then here's the other little rest in peace tombstone. And then my little spider with my little tree. But isn't that cute? I'm going to show you. Let me hold this so you can see the little spider. So, and if it's like if you have your ceiling fan going, I have mine turned off right now for the video. Okay, it's not doing it, but there we go. He's moving around, and all I did was put some fishing line down there, and I just did some double-sided adhesive on the back. See there? I just did some double-sided adhesive there for you, so that because you'd see it. But my main point on this is you definitely want the base card to be cardstock, not paper, because you need it to be thick because it's going to stand up and it's going to go through the mail. So and some people are probably going to open and close, open and close, open and close. So you want it to be really, really sturdy. So I would use at least I would do at least 80-pound or higher cardstock. I've done some at 60 and they don't really hold up too well. I've actually had a couple that I put in the mail, and they didn't last that long in the mail. I don't know what happened to it, but the envelope was really kind of crimpled and stuff. So, because all I did was put this in there, nothing else. I did wrap it in some tissue instead, because it's really, really thin. I didn't put a whole bunch of extra postage on it and stuff. So, but I would definitely recommend you use cardstock, at least 80-pound or higher cardstock. But I wanted to, my main point, and then of course you do. I'll show you the little pot. These are called the little sleeves, and you can make, I've got 3 in this one. I've seen some people do 4 or 5. I've actually done 4 or 5. Those are kind of nice to do if you've got a big, you're going to put like a big old bouquet of flowers or a bunch of stuff on there. But this particular one, I actually wanted the focal of each one of the little ghosts, the little trick-or-treaters, to be shown, to be seen. So I did limited amount because I wanted to be able to be seen. Now, if you're going to put this somewhere, or you think you want to give it to somebody that's going to put it somewhere that's going to be seen by all around, definitely do the same thing and double layer this, so that way whatever you see in the front is what you see in the back. But most of mine I've done, like on this one, I just did where you only see it from the front, and that's it. Nothing else is seen and stuff. But you could take any piece of paper. Doesn't really matter what size. This one is 4 by 5/8. This one is 5 3/8 by 8.5. This is your standard 8.5 by 11. And then your legal size paper, 8.5 by 14. You're going to use the same formula on every single one. And here's my little baby one. You see there? See, that's what it's made, and that's what it looks like when it's all completed. No, it's not decorated. And if you see on this one, I personally like to leave this back flap open sometimes. I do change my stuff around, but I left the the back flap open. I left it open. I didn't bend it down because I wanted it to always stay up. Because if you see here on this original piece, this one I did all 4 sides. It's folded down. Okay? But if you had left it open, you still decorate this here, but you don't put as much decoration. But on this one, I wanted all 4 sides because this is going to somebody in the mail. And I really don't know how they're going to display it or anything. So I'm going to let them make that decision. Okay? And then, you know, those clamshells, when you buy any kind of packaging of all kinds of stuff, that really thick, hard, clear plastic, those are called clamshells. Well, what I do is I take a lot of them, and these are mostly for my craft stuff. But I'll sit there when I'm watching TV, and I'll just I'll just tear them up into little pieces. So whatever I get is what I get, because they're all different sizes. And this is just a little plastic, those little clamshells that I cut in little strips. And you can see I'm not any worried about what shape or anything else, because, and I don't care about the length, because depending on what you're doing, some of them you wanted to be short, and some of them you wanted to be long. Because look at this one right here. This is a really long piece. But this one over here is really short. See that there? So you need a variety of lengths. So I just sit there watching TV, sitting on my couch, watching my TV, have these in my lap with my scissors and my little baggie, and I'm just cutting away a storm, just cutting up storm and cutting a storm. So then I just keep them on my little baggie, so I always have them handy. And there's a lot of them in here. Okay, but let's get to the main basic of the point of how to make this. This is going to be the same formula for every single one. Depending on the size, like on this one, because this is so tiny, I'm trying to find where I put my little edge. Okay, there it is. Nope, that's not it. Where did I put my little edge? I did so good. I glued this so good. Can't see it. Okay, here it is. And on the standards, the bigger sizes, you only want 1/4 inch. So you're going to get your scoreboard. And then you're going to score this at 1/4, because you only want a little bit of a lip to adhere the pieces together. Okay, so you score that. Then, depending on the size of your paper, for your flaps, see here, I wanted a lot of decoration on the main box, and I want a little on the flap. So you could do these at either whatever size based on your size of paper, of how, do you want this to be longer, do you want it to be in half? This is basically your own decision on how big your paper is that you're working with. Now this particular paper is 5 3/8 by 8.5, so this is 5 3/8. So I could very easily, here I am, and I'm just going to make this flap to be at 2 inches. And that's just because I'm doing it, that's just what I came up with. I don't have to, I could do whatever I want. And then you want to score that. Okay. And then what you want to do is you're going to fold this little insert part, because this is the part that's going to be glued to the inside of right here. This is where that's going to get glued. And you want to glue this exactly right on the lip. And you can do it right on top, or you can do it on this way, but I personally like to do this so that way nobody sees that little area there, which you can see that on the outside of the box. On this one, my original one, see here's where I put the 2 pieces together. See, you can see that right there, and you see that right there, but you can't see it because I did it right on the very edge, so it gives you a lot more professional look. Okay, so then you just score it, get your glue, and you glue only the bottom down, not the top flap. You can use double-sided glue, whatever it is that you want to do, double-sided adhesive, wet glue, whatever it is that you want. Let me just close this back up. Come on. Okay, where are you? Okay, and then you're just going to meet the edges with this edge here. You're going to meet those together and then get it as close as possible. And it's okay to fold this part here till it meets. See that? I'm meeting it and I'm just folding right there to make it easier for you to put to glue it together. So give it a second. And then there it is. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed up. I'm sorry. I forgot. I wasn't supposed to glue it yet. I messed up. I forgot this was the main step. I'm sorry. Forget what I just said. So here's that whatever. Typically it's 1/4. If you use the bigger pieces, it's 1/4 inch. Is what your score line is here. So what you want to do is now cut this in half. But you're going to get this edge with this edge here. So just put your fingers right there. Crease it. Let me get my little bone folder here. You definitely want to give yourself a little crease. Then you get this edge and you only fold it half to this main crease line here. Okay. Then get your bone folder. Same thing here, but you want this folded where it's going to be on the inside, and then you crease it and fold it to the center of the score line. So you see this half and this half are the exact same size. Okay. Now we put the wet glue and we glue it together. Okay, let me see which one's my bottom. Okay, this is my bottom. Okay, now with the same thing, go back here, line this up. And then you just want to line it up right there next to each other so it's right on the edge. You don't want it to stick out over here. You want it to be right on the edge. That's why I like to use wet glue on this, because you can move your paper a little bit so you have wiggle room. You can see here, I just barely went over, not very much, but I could always trim that. But because it's such a minor amount, I'm okay with that. I'm good to go. So there is the finished box. And let me just separate this a little bit, because where I messed up while ago, the glue stuck to the other side of the paper, and I don't want that. Okay, see? There you go. I open that up, and then there's your box. Now, because this is the flap that I attached, this is going to be the back piece, which is the back piece right here. You see that? There's a piece there. So this is the part I don't want to, in this particular case, I don't want to fold it, but if I wanted to look like my original, I could go ahead and do that. It's totally up to you. So now, you're going to trim. Oh, let me put my glue, close my glue back up before it dries up on me. So now you're going to cut all of these little corner ones of the flap that's going to go down right up to the score line right in here. So I'm just going to cut from right on the score line. And I apologize, this is white. It's a little hard to see. But I'll put more details in the description box. And I'm not going to put any measurements, because the measurements are going to vary by the size of box that you're going to do. Okay. So there's all my little flaps. Okay. Now you see this extra one that's right here? What I'm going to do is fold this one flat down, because this is the flap. And you will fold it right on the score line. Same thing with this one. And always make sure you're making it here so you get a nice even crease. Okay. Yeah, take it granted, when you're using cardstock, this is going to be a little bit thicker, but you can definitely still do it. It's still very maneuverable. It's just going to be a little bit harder, but you can definitely do it. It's maneuverable, easy. And there you go. Now you see this piece here? I just trim it, and because this is little, I'm going to use my baby scissors. And you just trim right on the score line. You could do this before you glue it, or you can do it afterwards. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to score on I'm going to trim right on the inside. And you see that? I trimmed it and you can't even see that it's there. And there it's folded. And there is your flap. Now, you can decorate it however it is that you want to decorate it. All four sides. Add, like here, this is actually themed cardstock. This is paper. This is 12 by 12 paper. I purchased it with the spiders already on there. And these are embossed. And they're kind of fuzzy cardstock. And this is just in a Halloween pack that I got at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I forget which one. But it came this way, and it was a Halloween theme. Okay. Of the cardstock. So you see this is the double-sided. You can see on the inside how it's white, because it's only one side of the cardstock. But you could do double-sided cardstock. That way you have one color here and one color on the little flap. So you don't have to decorate or add anything. But you would just measure your flaps. So this, like this particular flap is 2 inches. So this is 2 by 2 is this little flap. So you would want to create 1, 2, 3. You would want to create 4 little flaps, decorations of cardstock or card paper to put on top to decorate it. 2 by 2. If you want to do the whole thing, make it a little bit smaller. If you want to leave a little border. Now on this bottom base of the box is 3. Well, let's see, where are we? It's about 3 3/8. It's really close to 3 3/8. Okay. Now, whenever you do something that close like that, what I would do is attach it from here. Don't put any glue down here. Attach it to here. And then you can always trim off any excess if it's a little too long, because you need it to lay flat so it stays open. So if there's any excess, you want to make sure it's the same length as the original base. So I would attach all the glue over here, and then attach, you can go ahead and do, of course, do the glue it here, and then just trim the excess off. And then you would decorate it. And then to make your little flaps on the inside here, you would still get the cardstock because you want something thick and sturdy. And then you would just measure, and I'm just going to use this as an example. So you get a piece of cardstock, the same material as the cardstock, or you can do something different. It could be different, or it could be the same, doesn't matter. And then you just measure it right here, but you want to give yourself at least 1/4 inch flap to go on the inside of the box, because that's what's going to get attached to the box, so it always stays there. Okay, and then I'm just doing free cut. I'm not doing normally I would do this on my trimmer, but I just wanted to give you a gist idea. So here's my little box. This is actually a little too long, but that's okay. I'm just going to give myself a little flap here. And here's where I want my measurement to be. And then here's where I want the other one to be. So I'm just going to close this in here. Trim this extra off. And then you would put double-sided adhesive, but for right now for the video, I'm just going to do glue. You can do double-sided adhesive. I personally like double-sided adhesive, and I've been doing these for a good 7 or 8 years, all the time, all season long, all year long, for all kinds of seasons, birthdays, Father's Day, whatever. It just depends on the person I'm giving a card to. And what's good here, here's where you can either go, you can put the flaps inside this way, or you can put the flaps inside this way, and I'm going to show you in both ways. Then you just put one in here. Sometimes you want to give yourself some room because you want to put something on the back. Sometimes you don't. It's up to you. And then here's the other one. And you want to make this kind of level, and you want to make sure that it's underneath this flap. So when it opens and closes, it doesn't get caught in the way. Okay, so there's that one little flap right there. So let's do another one. And I'm going to do I know it was too long, so I'm just going to measure, because I know this is the same length paper. I'm just going to measure the same thing again. And then I'm just going to do the same thing. Give myself a little indentation here. Give myself the same little indentation on this one. Attach my glue, add some glue. or double-sided adhesive. The red double-line tape would work too. Now this one, I'm going to do the little flaps, because you see here I did it on this way. I'm doing the flaps this way. Okay. So add it to the box. Hold it down, let the glue stick. Hold it down, let the glue stick. Okay, so that's touching. Okay, and then when it's all done, you've done all your rows that you want to do, you fold it flat, press down on it, so all the little flaps stay there, and then you can open, close, open, and close, and you're good to go. And you can make as many rows, like I said, you can make as many rows as you want. I mean, I've done some where I did like 1-inch flowers, so I needed a bunch of space in between, but you couldn't see this rows at all because they were so full and thick, because they were 3D flowers. So, but you see, depending on where you space it, determines, I'm going to see if I can angle that in there so you can see how big of a gap do you have of what you're doing. So what I personally like to do is I like to have everything set up before I start making my inside flaps. Hit my little I forget, I don't know what you call these little things. But anyway, is see what I'm doing. Do I need some that are really thick? Do I need some that's just going to be really thin? Because I mean, it just depends on your project and whatever you're going to be adding to it. Do you want them placed close apart? Do you want them further apart? This is the one part that just, you know, I really can't write down anything, because you may not want to do that. Like I said, with like the 3D flowers, or the 3D embellishments that you can buy at the store, you know, that's got 3 layers. Like I did the pumpkin and the little ghost. This is a two-layer ghost, and this is a 2-layer pumpkin. But then you can see those that have 3 layers, or you can even do some that are 4 or 5. I've made my own where I just made 5 or 6 of them, stuck it on top. And I decorated every single one of them, because you can still see in between the layers, but they're all decorated exactly the same. I just wanted to give it some depth. It was just something different and stuff. But that is how I've seen this in very, very many videos, and throughout the years I've seen it called a pop-up box card. Pop-up box card. And then I've just seen it called pop-up card. I like it because it looks like a box. Okay, and it does pop open. So that's why when you get it in the mail, they open it like this, and then they get it, they open it, and it's like, oh, and then everything pops out on them. So that's where the term pop-up box card I've seen in a bunch of videos. So look that up. There's tons of videos out there. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget to hit like and share, and place any comments. And I thank you, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Hey, I'm back. I wanted to show you, to give you a little tip here. Whenever you're making your box card, make sure you measure what size it is. And if you're going to put it in an envelope, make sure you measure the length and the width to fit your envelope. Because if you see this one here that I just done, it sticks out so much more further. I had to make a specialty envelope so it would fit. Let me show you right here. Okay, and this is actually I wrote it down here. This is a 6 by 10 envelope, so I can have enough to cover this additional add-on. So first thing you want to do is measure the size of the envelope that you're going to use. If you can't create your own, then make sure that you stay within the measurements, the width and the length of that envelope, so it does fit inside for mailing or even just to give to somebody. And see, that one actually does fit. I even have a little bit more room, so this little handle of my little trick-or-treat bag won't get all squished up or bent. Anyway, so there's that. And then this is how I decorated. I just used a stencil. And this is actually, this is waxed, a roll of paper, just regular white wrapping paper. But this is a great tool to whenever you need to make bigger bags. But I also like to make use this paper to make my own party bags, decorative bags, and then I decorate the outside of it with ink or whatever it is that I'm using. Or I use stickers, it just depends and stuff, but get yourself a roll of that. I just used white because I can always paint this or ink it, whatever color I want. Or, you know, most of the time I just leave it white because it's just an envelope. It's only going to be used for mailing. I'm not going to do anything else with it. Now, I definitely would put a piece of cardstock or a piece of cardboard, real thin cardboard, like the front and back cover of your 12 by 12 pages or your 6 by 6 pages. Put that in there to give it a little bit of stability and firmness. Because right now, you see how flimsy it is, because again, like I said, it is just wrapping paper. And then when you have your card in there, especially when you're doing something like this, look at the Google eyes, because look at the depth. See the depth there? So those are going to get squished. And sometimes during mailing, they can actually get bented and dent. So put yourself a piece of cardboard here and on the back side. And it usually only adds like maybe 10-15 cents in extra weight for postage. To me, that would be worth it, because you don't want to have a project like this that the recipient get it and a couple of the eyes are messed up, or whatever decorations that you put on there would be messed up. So anyway, that's a little tidbit. Here's the envelope, and here's the little card. And I thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.